if you are able to experience all the websites through internet, that is all through HTTP protocol. It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and it is a protocol means a set of rules that enables the browsers to send requests and servers to respond to the same. Means clients or the browsers send request to server, and those servers receive that request and can send the response back to the browser. It is like a question and answer. For example, if you are the browser, you can ask a question to me and I can receive that question, means I can receive that request, do some process and can provide the answer to you. That is called response. All the websites on internet use HTTP protocol with or without SSL, means security socket layer. HTTP protocol with SSL certificates are called as HTTPS protocol, which is basically HTTP protocol with a security layer. It is actually developed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1990s, and later it is standardized by IETF so that everyone in the world can use it. So when you run the application, the browser sends request to server, but in the form of HTTP request. Means that request follows a set of rules. That is why it is called as HTTP request. So that request will be received by our HTTP server called Kestrel, which is also called as application server, and then it invokes the actual application code that you write. For example, this piece of the code executes upon receiving the request from the Kestrel, because Kestrel forwards the request to the application code. So according to this line of code, upon receiving the request at the root level, means localhost port number, then this string value will be sent as response back to the browser. At first, that response will be received by the Kestrel, and the same response will be sent back to the browser. In that way, the application runs every time. And in the same way, all the internet websites. Let's experience HTTP protocol in the browser. I am selecting our Kestrel as the server here and running the application here, means press F5 on the keyboard. You can see the URL, that is http://localhost like this. Since HTTP is the default protocol in all the browsers, that is generally hidden. So when you press enter key, the request will be sent one more time. But since the HTTP protocol is the default one on the browser, it is hidden. You can also see the network requests in the browser development tools. In order to open the browser development tools, in the Chrome browser, go to the menu and then More Tools, and over here you can see an option called Developer Tools. The keyboard shortcut is Ctrl+Shift+I. This is the keyboard shortcut in the Chrome browser. In other browsers such as Firefox or Edge, you may have a different keyboard shortcut. You can go to that menu and find an option called Developer Tools. In almost all the browsers, developer tools are available in these days. Anyways, in our codes, we are going to use Chrome most of the time. So we click on Developer Tools. So it opens up this kind of window at the bottom. Or sometimes it may be docked at right side as well, like this. So under this, you have to click on Network. And this is the place where you can see all the requests. So when you press refresh button over here, you can see that request logged in the network tab. This is the request that is sent. And above you can see a timeline. It is not required in our case. So uncheck this checkbox, Show Overview. So basically click on Settings icon over here and then uncheck this checkbox called Show Overview. Okay, there is more space to see the network logs. So this is the request that is sent to HTTP localhost, and if you click on that, you can see more details. It shows the URL, method of the request or HTTP verb, and the status code briefly. And you can see the response headers and request headers as well. But for the beginners, all these may sound a bit confusing for you. So there is a need of exploring through all these concepts in detail. Because the entire ASP.NET course or concept works based on HTTP protocol, means based on these concepts of request and response. So if you are clear on these fundamentals, you can understand any advanced concept. But alternatively, in case if you are already having the knowledge of HTTP requests and responses, how they work, feel free to skip all these sections and jump to the section where the views will begin. Otherwise, if you are in a hurry, if you want to see actual page development, then also you can skip all these sections and jump to the views section where we will create controllers and views. So, if you have any intention of making the strong foundation for ASP.NET Core to understand the basic fundamental concepts from the scratch, feel free to continue all these sections and lectures from here. Our next step in HTTP protocol is we have to explore through the HTTP response. We will try that in the next lecture.